Hi, Algebra 1 students. We're going to start the next section on 3.5, looking at word problems. Today I have 3 problems for us to go through. One of them is a typical word problem that you'd see. Another is a money problem. And the last one is a mixture problem. So let's get started. Anya makes 14 baskets during her game. Some of these baskets were worth 2 points and others were worth 3 points. In total, she scored 30 points. How many 2-point baskets did she make? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to define our variables. And so x is going to equal the number of 2-point baskets. And then y will equal the number of 3-point baskets. Okay, back up. In the first sentence, it said that she made 14 baskets. So we can get an equation from this problem. So it's going to be x plus y equals 14. So that's your first equation. So the next one deals with point value. So you have some baskets that are worth 2 points and some worth 3 points. And she scored a total of 30 points during the game. So let's write an equation with that. So the next equation will be 2x, because these baskets are worth 2 points, plus 3y, because those baskets are worth 3 points, equals a total of 30 points. So there's our 2 equations. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to multiply the first equation by a negative 2. And so we get negative 2x minus 2y is negative 28. And then I just rewrite the second equation underneath of it, and that's equal to 30. So y here is going to equal 2. Well, y represents the number of 3-point baskets, so we have to go back and sub it in to this equation here to figure out how many 2-point baskets, because we found 3-point. So we're going to just sub it in here. Let's do a bigger line here. So we have x plus 2 is equal to 14. And so x is going to equal 12. So x plus 2 is 14. X is equal to 12. So now I have my answer. And you can just write a little sentence. She made 12 2-point baskets. Okay, so let's just walk through the process again. The first thing I did was define my variables. The next thing I looked at was the first piece of information they gave us, the 14 baskets. And so it's a combination of the number of 2-point and the number of 3-point baskets. And then the next piece of information was with 30 points. So she made 2 types of baskets, 2-point baskets and 3-point baskets, and that's equal to 30. I multiplied by negative 2. Now I have opposite x terms, and I just added and got 2. I found the 3-point baskets, but I didn't want that. I wanted the 2-point baskets, so I had to sub it in to one of the equations. I got 12, and then I just wrote a sentence about what was happening here. Okay, so let's move on to the next problem. Okay, number 2. In a collection of dimes and quarters, there are 6 more dimes than quarters. If there is $29.65 overall, how many of each are there? Okay, so let's start with this one. And write down, I don't know why I'm getting this, but I am. Oh. Okay, back to the problem here. So let's look at this first equation here. In a collection of dimes and quarters, there are 6 more dimes than quarters. So the one that you have the most of is dimes. So you're going to want to write that in terms of the quarters that you have. So dimes is the one that you have the most of. So D is going to equal, well, we find the dimes by adding 6 plus the quarters. So 6 plus Q. So the next thing we want to do is we want to write a money equation. So dimes, oh, I forgot to define my variables. Sorry about that. D equals the number of dimes. And Q is the number of quarters. Okay, so there's my first equation with the variables which I defined. So the next one, dimes are worth 10 cents, 0.10x plus 0.25q is 29.65. Okay, let's write this a little bit better. So 0.10x plus 0.25 Q is 29.65 here. Let's erase this. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to multiply this equation by 100. So it's going to be a little easier for me. So I get 10, and I should have a D here. 10D plus 25Q is equal to 2,965. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to take this D value here and I'm going to sub it in right here. We're going to use the substitution method to find the answer. So 10, instead of D, I'm going to put in 6 plus Q plus 25Q equals 29.65. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to distribute the 10 through, so I get 60 plus 10Q plus 25Q equals 29.65. And so I'm going to combine like terms and I'm going to move that over, so 35Q equals 29.05. I'm going to divide by 35, and it comes out to be 83 here. So that was the number of quarters, because that's what Q represented. And so I want to find next the number of dimes. So I'm going to take this Q and I'm going to sub it in right here in this equation and find out the number of dimes that I have. Okay? So D is going to equal 6 plus 83. And so D is 89. So then you just write a little sentence about what's happening. So you're going to have 89 dimes and 83 quarters in the collection. Oh, I set this up wrong. Okay, so we're going to move on to the last one here and talk about a mixture problem. Okay, so this one says, mad scientist Miss Poost has one solution that is 30% acid and another that is 18% acid. How many of each should mad Miss Poost use to get 300 liters of solution that is 21% acid? All right, so to solve this problem, we're gonna set up a chart. Okay, so here's our chart. Okay, so here we're gonna have our 30% solution, our 18% solution, and then we're gonna have a mix. Okay, so here's gonna be the amount, here's the percent, and then here's gonna be the total right here. Okay, and basically what you're gonna do here is you're gonna multiply these. So it's gonna be amount times the percentage, and that is gonna give you the total. So let's put an equal sign here, and that's gonna be the total mix. So the amount that I have here is gonna be X, because I don't know what that amount is gonna be. This is gonna be Y. And so your mix, well, there's 300 liters of that. So I'm gonna put 300 here. And the percentage, well, this will be 0.30, this will be 0.18, and then the mix should have 0.21. So the total, so I'm just gonna multiply these, so I get 0.3x, 0.18y, and then the mix will be 0.21 times 300, which is gonna equal 63 here. So that's how you set up the table. Now, from the table, I can actually get two equations here. One of them comes from this column. X plus y is 300. And then the last one comes from the last column. So it's gonna be 0.3x plus 0.18 y is going to equal 63. Okay, so now you have your two equations, and the first thing I want to do is I want to multiply this by 100. So I'm going to take this times 100 so I can get rid of those decimals. So I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to work the problem out for you. Okay, actually I'll move over here to this side because I think you can see better over here. So it's going to be 30x plus 18y equals 6,300. Okay, and then this one still is going to be x plus y is 300. Okay, so then we're going to multiply this equation times a negative 30 and work that out. So we get negative 30x minus 30y. That's equal to negative 9,000. And then we just bring this one down here. So 30x plus 18y is equal to 6,300. And then we're just going to add these, and so you get 12y is equal, actually it's negative, and that's negative 2,700 divided by negative 12, and so x comes out to be 200. I wish I could remember. 225 for that one. And then we're going to put it back into this equation, or this one right here, and figure out our y value. And so 225 plus y is equal to 300. And so y is going to equal 75. And then at the end, you're going to just go ahead and write out what it means in terms of the problem. So the final answer will look like 225 liters of the 30% solution and then the last one will be 75 liters of the 18% solution. Okay, I hope you enjoyed these, and I'll see you again, and have a good night.